Okay, wait, but before we go though, let's get an official, like, what do you call that when someone like does like the weird so and so and you're listening to what is that
Yeah,
called? A drop? Do
yeah,
one of those for
sure.
me, both of you guys. So let's get there. Are
For
you ready? Three, two.
wait, what are we doing? What are we doing?
How we doing?
And for
You're doing a
whose? And for
drop.
whose? For
You're
yours?
doing a drop for me. Yeah, for me. For
All right,
screen
cool.
for me.
All
All
right,
right.
I'll go first,
Sorry,
and then
I
Taylor will
should.
go. How about that?
There,
What do
sounds
I
good.
say? What do I say? What do
I'll
I
go
say?
You
first.
just say whatever comes to your head, dude.
Just copy me.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is John from Check the Candy and New England Home of Horror, and make sure you are checking out the Scream for Me pod show.
I love it. Hey, I'm Skynetvideo, and I want you to check out Scream for Me because he always makes me scream.
Hey.
Is that right?
Hey, that's perfect. That's perfect.
I want to play a game.
A certain rule.
Where the
We'll
fuck
get
did
there.
Taylor go?
He's behind it. You can't tell. He's
Oh,
in black, but he's right there.
what are you jerking off, dude? Show us.
Oh, he's hitting a bunch of shit now.
What is he doing?
Um,
I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna clip this because every fucking time we get to going, Taylor starts fucking around and doing something stupid. Oh, there he is, right there. He goes, "Huh?" I don't think he has his earphones up. There you go. Hey, we were talking about how cool you were.
Oh, my fucking lights are driving me nuts. I feel like everything. I've not been down here in a while. Everything's not the way I left it. So hold on.
All right, here we good.
Whatever. Fuck it.
You're a pretty princess.
All right. Fuck it. Let's go.
I actually set the camera back further too, so you can see me better. Because I thought it's so close with fucking with me. So
Your beard's like fuzzing in and out.
I was like, oh, oh wow, look at that. That's weird.
great.
That
Green
was
screen
weird.
for you.
Yeah. So I don't have a cool background like you guys. I need to get a cool background. Oh, it usually doesn't do that. I like when I go like this. That's why I need to keep my hand away from my fucking mouth. All right. So welcome to Scream for Me. Tonight we have two guests that you both have seen before, but now they're on the same screen together.
Are we
Right?
always?
I mean, sure.
True.
More the same, more the same. I wanted to do this podcast because I've talked to Taylor about Nest, and I've talked to John about Devils Are We. Two amazing episodes, guys. Seriously, one of my favorite ones so far because I'd like to hear about all your projects and stuff. But now we're going to talk about your baby, your marriage, your intercoursal podcasting production, which is Check the Candy.
Hmm.
So there you go.
Love me
Oh.
some Check the Candy. Love me some Check the Candy.
I
So
love it too.
I'm just gonna tell you how Check the Candy come about. Okay, real quick, real simple. When a man and a man love each other very, very much,
Tell me more. Tell me more.
and then they have a couple of drinks. John and I know about this. Um, it just, a few drinks, a couple of sexual musics, and like the atmosphere starts like so. Picture American Psycho, right? You,
Right.
you start playing Huey Lewis in the news or whatever it's called, and then John's sitting on the couch, and I'm kind of like dancing behind him, right? And
Totally naked.
I was naked. Yeah, there's no axe, there's no nothing. It's just like picture this, but like a porno. All right, and I'm naked, he's naked, and we were just like, hey, we should start a podcast. And then nothing happened, no intercourse, nothing like that. We were like, yeah, you're right. Let's just make this a strictly podcast thing instead of a sexual relationship.
Just strictly
Was it
business
more?
casual.
Was it more like a celestial? Like you just thought about it and you're like your mind started to fuck?
Yeah, yeah, pretty
They were
much.
definitely on the same wavelength, but not
Yeah.
on the same track.
Mhm.
One on this
Wavelength
track, one
was
on this
there.
track,
You
but
tried to
going down the same road, just on different tracks.
you tried
Mhm.
to dock, but like it missed like this. Is that
Right,
what it
right,
was?
right, right.
Or like Taylor was over here, John's over here, and it was like, I can't do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's
That's
true.
what I
Uh,
thought. That's what I thought. Okay. Well, because Taylor teased this on mine. He said, on our podcast, they tell you tease the fact of, he said, well, John will explain it all. So, okay, well, just Taylor explained it all,
that's why I'm not explaining it. John, John's way better at going through all this shit. I'm just gonna make up some sexual fucking thing that never happened.
So yeah,
okay,
we
okay.
could we could do the
Wait,
real.
truth be
We could,
told,
yeah.
okay, wait, before you say that, truth be told, this is really funny too. This is back when I was very, very upset when Taylor wasn't talking to me. John and I were always fine though. John never had a problem with John whatsoever. He was cool as fuck. And actually, it's funny. I go through a lot of my old stories and stuff on Instagram, and I see you pop up a whole lot. I'm like, oh, there's John. Oh, there's John. But so I saw that you had a podcast, Taylor, and it's back before we were even talking again. And I was mad. I was like, this fucker just like said, fuck 6 shots in. I'm gonna go do my own fucking thing with someone else. Fuck that guy. Fuck it. I'm gonna bring other people on that he might not like either. So fuck it. We'll just bring everyone together. I was pissed. No, I'm not. So
Yeah, yeah. It's as far as Check the Candy goes, I think it was just uh, Taylor and I before we start like we didn't. I don't even think I followed him before I saw 6 shots in, and I think I ended up following him after an episode. Um, and we didn't really talk or anything. We just whatever. Would like some shit here and there, but it wasn't until I asked him on my old podcast, which was the Home Horror podcast, that we really started to talk a lot more and stuff like that, and we ended up doing an episode together, and then got talking more and more and more. And Taylor, he loves doing the voice messages and shit, so he ended up voice messaging me, and I'm like, oh, he's fucking Southern, that little bastard. No, but we kind of got talking about accents and shit because he was like, "Where are you from?" And I'm like, "I'm from Maine." He's like, "Oh fuck yeah!" I'm like, "Where are you from?" He's like, "Tennessee." And we kind of started on
Tennessee.
that. Yeah, we kind of started on that wavelength, talking about our accents and shit like that, and so it was kind of cool. And then we just got talking more, doing some video chats, having some drinks together. We figured, we kind of ended up having like not necessarily the same very like-minded for sure, but different at the same time. Like we always call it like the yin and yang thing, like
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
where we're on that, how I was explaining earlier, like we're on the same track, or we're not on the same track, but we're going in the same direction, so it kind of works.
Parallels. Yeah.
We have a lot of different opinions and stuff like that, but that can work really well, as long as you guys are friends and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So it kind of
I
started
call
that way.
I call it the mom and dad. That's Wes,
Oh,
you've heard me say that before. Like John's the
many
dad, I'm
times.
the mom, or he's the mom, or I'm the dad. It just the yin and yang thing makes more sense than the mom and
And
dad.
John is definitely the dad. Definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, we started
Because,
kind of just talking about, when we were doing all the video chats and stuff, and we kind of started going live here and there and stuff like that, and we were having a lot of fun. It was really just a kind of a shit show. It was like, let's just go on live with people and fuck around and shit like that. And then we said we should like, we both have, you could see that there was this level of ambition that we both kind of had when it came to movies and the horror genre and stuff like that. And it just kind of clicked after a while. It was kind of like, hey,
Which
it wasn't even that long really either, Taylor. It was like
no,
pretty quickly, I feel like.
yeah. So like, which the whole like going live and stuff like that, like my anxiety was not having it. Like I could not handle that shit. Like it was one of those things. Like I could see everything that was going on, and it
Yeah.
was really fucking with me. And that's like a big part of what I like is not knowing things. And if I know, I don't know how to explain this.
mind's
Like
eye.
yeah. So like if I know like people aren't watching or whatever, I'm just like, what? Then why the fuck are we doing this? Like kind of
Yeah.
deal, like. But when I was doing it with John, and we had a few other guys with us, and it was a lot of fun. Like my anxiety went away, kind of deal, you know. And
Mhm.
that's where like this started helping me. And John, he was in the same situation. Like it's helping me in a different sense, you know.
Mhm.
And then the other guys that we were doing this with, it just didn't work with them like the way that they thought it would go. And
Mhm.
but for John and I, it was working, and it was kind of one of those things like, hey, let's we don't have to go live. We can fucking just shit ass off and get some people on, and just talk. And honestly, that's like a big thing that has helped like personally, me personally, with my anxiety, my fucking depression, um, just all that shit that goes along with that. Uh, this has brought me out of the real world and taken me into another real world that I enjoy to be in, and it's been a true blessing, honestly. Like
Yeah.
I think I think the gods every day that I got a good partner like John, and him and I just keep rocking and rolling, and we just or there's no fucking lie to this either. Like we go a couple fucking weeks, and it almost seems like months, to where we're just like, what the fuck are we gonna do? We gotta get some
Yeah.
episodes. And then like all of a sudden it just kind of bang bang bang. And it's like for like 2 months, we got fucking shit. And then after that we're like, oh shit, we gotta get more. But like it's not a job, so like
Right. Yeah.
it's fun to us. Like we enjoy it. And that's meeting new people and learning their stories, and hearing how films are made, and hearing how podcasts are created, and it just in general, like meeting people that are within the horror community. It's a nice relaxation from the real world. Like I work on bathtubs for a fucking living. John owns a dumpster company, like a trash company.
Yeah.
But like we don't want to fucking talk about that shit. We want to talk about the shit
Mhm.
that we enjoy.
Yeah, it's
And
kind of shit that we always did, but like it was kind of a shit show, you know?
yeah,
It's like I think what it did was like kind of brought structure to like what we were already doing. I think like we were
yeah,
already talking about movies all the time. Like we didn't only talk about movies when we were have like our video, when we'd have a drink together on chat and shit like that, but it was like it always came back to a movie and then like the horror genre and our pages and our brands and like our separate brands, and then like it just
Yeah.
starting Check the Candy kind of brought structure to like what was already kind of this like tornado or like whirlwind of shit that we wanted to do anyway, but it was all kind of just up in the air, or like it would be done here and there. Like even with my podcast, it was like, I couldn't I didn't want to settle for like just one episode a month, because like we all know in the podcasting world, like that just doesn't work. Like you're not going to build your
Mhm.
brand that way. And I think the other thing that helped was like right from the get-go, we were like, we're not labeling this just a podcast. Like Check the Candy is a collective, it's a brand. It's bigger than just a show or a whatever, you know what I mean? It's more than that. And we've kind of grown it that way, where it's like, it's not just like getting episodes with people and scheduling and shit like that. It's everything. It's total content in what our like minds have in them, and like just like project that onto episodes and onto artwork,
yeah,
and onto movies and films and whatever we want to learn about, whatever we want to be creative about in this genre. It just so happens that it's horror and all that kind of stuff. But
Mhm.
it was just, I think the best way to explain it is, it was Check the Candy when we went under that name, like that flag. It was like he's Skynetvideo. He has his own brand. I have New England Home of Horror, my own brand. It was a way to bring everything that we wanted to do under one flag, under one banner. And it
yeah,
just kind of created structure for us and allowed us to just be more creative and have an outlet for all the things we love to do. That was the biggest thing. And then it kind of just snowballed, and it's kind of turned into this whole thing.
yeah. And
Yeah.
it also like really brought us almost kind of out of our shells a little bit too.
Yeah,
Like
definitely. Definitely.
Mhm.
Especially with me, for sure.
Yeah, it made us want to tackle new things, and we're still tackling new shit, you know.
Yeah.
And then we talked to Alt. We brought Alt on board, and Alt has his own brand, but then we collectively brought him in to check the candy, and now it's three like-minded people, and to everybody else watching, Alt's not here for a fucking reason because it's like 3 in the morning over there and he's
Yeah,
sleeping.
it's hard
Yeah.
hard to
Yeah.
get him on things, but we're always talking to him, and
Yeah,
he's always in the loop, and he's
always in the loop.
he does a lot of work behind the scenes for us. He's kind of like the Wizard of Oz. I kind of like to think of him. He's like the guy behind the curtain that you don't
Yeah,
see, that's kind of making a lot of
Mhm.
it go. And we all kind of have that thing about us, which I think is cool. When you think of a collective and a brand, that's kind of what you want. You have certain jobs that you need to do. Like I do a lot of the editing. Taylor's doing a lot of the promoting and marketing, and getting guests on, so scheduling. Alt's doing all the artwork and stuff like that, the graphic design, so there's a lot of things that go into it that we're all doing behind the scenes. And it just so happens that Taylor and I are, like, I guess you would call, the quote unquote faces of
faces.
Check
Yeah,
Candy,
Yeah.
and
but it's a
yeah,
lot
but
more than that.
it's a lot more than
True.
that. Alt is behind the scenes so incredibly much. It's insane how much he is.
Yeah.
But as far as everything else goes, this is a job for John and I, and it's a job that we don't hate. It's something that we truly enjoy doing. Um, I look at my wife every now and then. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to go downstairs and do this tonight. And she says, yes, you do. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I have a fucking blast
Yeah,
every
every
single
time.
time I come down.
Yeah.
As soon as I sign in, I have a blast. And it's
Cool.
one of those things that it really relieves me from the outside world and makes me truly love who I am and, you know, what I love to do. And John, you mentioned the other night, it was really funny. I told Alt, um, you were like, "Do you even like scary movies? Like, do you even like horror? Are
Yeah.
we? Or do we have a podcast about?" um,
Right.
so fun story, real quick, is that I have a huge problem of sitting down and learning or watching a fucking movie and learning and just blah blah blah. But everything that John has said, everything Wes has said, everything Alt said, I'm like, I don't know, I've not seen it. I have watched them. I've just not watched them. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I can't tell you I have, but I truly, I think my thing is I like talking to people and I like learning. And that's what makes me want to sit down and actually fucking figure it out, And then like John, I would have never have made it through The Exorcist if it weren't for you. And that's one of
Right.
the best movies ever fucking
Dude,
made,
it's
dude.
so fucking good, man. And it's also, I think it's a testament too of, like, I think we see a lot of, it's the same old mumbo jumbo that I think we all talk about when we talk about horror. It's like we see ourselves in the characters sometimes and stuff like that, and we love stories. So when I said that to Taylor, it was just funny. I was like, "Do we have a fucking podcast and you don't even like movies?" Jokingly being like, he can't sit down in one sitting and watch a movie, but as you can tell from behind him and from his own brand, that he's he's very much into them. It's just sometimes we all kind of come at it from different angles, which
Yeah.
is sometimes even
I
makes
have
for a
to
better thing.
I like what I like, and like getting into new things, and that's what I like about the podcast. It's pushing me into new directions that like I'm very set in my ways of what I like, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
going into a different direction sometimes is hard for me because I'm just like, it's not that I think anybody's an idiot or anything like that. I'm just like, my attention span's not getting there for me
Yeah.
that
It's kind of
quickly,
like it's allowing you to, like, push your boundaries a little bit, which is cool.
Yeah, and I like
Um,
that.
Yeah.
It's helping
with
me a
growth,
lot.
with growth though, especially with horror, I was talking about this with a few other my guests about him with John too, with the fact of horror is such a different genre. It's a different type of way you look at movies and cinema in general. It's all encompassing. So just sitting down to watch a horror film sometime for us, especially horror fans, you know, especially for you, Taylor, like you said, like it's hard for you to fully concentrate on it. Like you're getting something out of it, but you're not getting the most because you can't really focus on it. But when you get, like you said, when you watch Exorcist, when you were able to focus on it, like that's huge because you were it's immersed, were you not?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
So
he
like
was sending me messages galore, dude. Just like, and it was something
exactly.
new for him, which is great in
Mhm.
inside the shit that he already loves. You know, the genre he already loves. So, you know, when you can
Yeah.
do that, it's kind of what Check the Candy's all about. Is kind of pushing our boundaries a little bit, learning more about the genre and about film. For
Hmm.
me and him, and also trying to help other people and support other people in the same aspect. You know.
yeah,
Right. Right. Because supporting each other is definitely huge. So
Yeah.
especially in the horror community, I think, because like I said, it's a whole different ball game when we get into the horror community and start sharing and looking at stuff, and a lot, a lot of it's the same, but a lot of it's so different. Like it's
Oh,
just
it's
so
so
crazy
different.
how it's just a
Yeah,
wave almost. So
dude, there's so many different things you can go down, so many different paths you can go down within the same genre. You know, it's pretty amazing, actually.
yeah. And,
yep.
a lot of those paths will lead you to places that you're just like, maybe I don't like horror, because then you're like getting into this like weird like, because you all right, so like everyone loves 80s film. I'm gonna be shunned for fucking saying this. Everyone loves 80s films, but like, dude, for the most part, those movies fucking suck, but they're iconic because of funny things that happen, or the shitty cheesy fucking blah 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 whatever, and then I think that's one of the paths that I took. It was like I was so consumed in just 80s films that I was just like, man, I actually don't like the story. Like, I don't like anything that's going on. I just like the thing, like whatever that is, whatever that might be. I think it's cool looking. They did a good job making it look like that, like let's just go with Chopping Mall. Um,
I was thinking
I
the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's like it's one of my favorites, but I'm just like, man, it's kind of fucking it's pretty fucking stupid. Like
Well, I
it's
think it's because you learn too as we get older. Like you don't outgrow things completely, but some things become more nostalgic, so you keep them close to your chest, which is good. But at the same time, like Taylor, for you, you've been you've been reaching out more. You know what I mean? You saw, you watched Psycho the other day and fucking loved it. You watched
yeah,
The Exorcist, you loved it. And like, I think there's like a little bit of like you helped me get into like holiday horror. I wasn't a big holiday horror kind of guy besides Halloween, obviously, but I don't really consider that. I'm thinking more, like I
Since
watched
Easter.
last year, he got me to watch My Bloody Valentine. I'd never seen it. I fucking love that movie now. That was something I didn't
Mhm.
really dive into. I'm a very dialogue story driven horror uh fan, so
yeah.
things like The Exorcist and shit like
So
that I love, and now he's kind of going down that road with like the movies that I've kind of showed him, and it's kind of like,
yeah,
we're learning a lot more, and we're kind of growing as fans still to this day, which is beautiful about it as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's got me more into the dialogue than the visual effect of the things, and where prior I was very visual. I'm just like, oh yeah, and like, but
Yeah.
now I'm just like, this like what's going on here? Like I don't really care for this kind of deal,
Yeah.
like um
Yeah.
so yeah, it's good to be friends with like-minded people. We, like John said, we have a yin and yang, a dad and mom kind of situation right here. Like it's fucking it works for us,
And we're learning a lot. We're learning about a
yeah.
lot within the genre from other people, but also
Mhm.
from each other, which is really cool.
Hmm.
Definitely. Definitely. And I love,
Yeah,
like I said, everything about your channel and everything about your brand. Um, it's really cool. Like it's really cool to watch you guys create and to kind of take it's like it's almost I can almost like see the way you guys will take something and kind of mold it and split it apart and make it something else and then put it back together again and it's something totally different than what we were expecting. And, I was telling my wife the other day, I was like, dealing with horror and dealing with especially with like podcasts stuff like that, there's not much you can do when you're doing a horror podcast. You can show off your collectibles, you can review movies, you can interview people, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Like you can do other things like, you can do movies or whatever, but like actually making movies, but like that's a whole other thing. But doing just strictly podcast, that's all you can do. But like you guys have like taken that and turned it on its head. honestly, in my opinion.
Cool. We appreciate
Yeah,
that. That's nice.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
it's true because like watching through your catalog, it's cool to see where you come from, where you are now, where you're going. Like I can almost like see a projection of where you guys are headed in the future, which is really cool because I can't wait to see it. So,
Yeah,
um,
and really like I was looking at it the other day because I was like, man, we're just grazing the surface right now. You know, people.
mhm,
I think even we forget that. Like, check the candy. December 16th is the first post we made announcing that Check the Candy was an actual thing.
Mhm.
yeah,
December 16th, 2022.
yeah,
We haven't
Three.
even been has even no. December 16th, 2022. It's about to be December 16th,
Yeah,
2023.
yeah.
So
well,
it's about to it
close.
hasn't even been a year yet. You know what I mean? Like we're
Yeah,
we're still figuring out our identity a little bit, but it's been so I'm telling you right now, like as far as Check the Candy goes, like I have the utmost confidence that we're gonna bring some seriously cool shit to the community, and like it's just starting. Like if there was a
Yeah.
graph and this is the graph, like we're like right here right now, bro, and it's just gonna keep going up. I
And
truly have
yeah,
confidence in that.
yeah,
Rome wasn't built in a day. Like
Right.
we're gonna continue to gradually just make our way up this fucking ladder of not success, but like just fucking talking to people. Like
Yeah.
that's that. I think that's the thing about Check the Candy is that we started this thinking that hey, we're gonna interview people, but instead we started fucking shitting ass off with people. Like
yeah,
we started just hanging with them. And I think that's
mhm,
the cool thing about because we have had a lot of people tell us like one in particular said I was done with podcast. I wasn't going to do them anymore, but after you guys, I might do a couple more kind of deal.
Yeah, he was very we won't mention who it was, but he was very like uncomfortable on camera and like didn't like the whole interview process, and it seemed kind of like I don't know. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but to me it felt like he thought it was a little fake,
Yeah.
kind of like you
yeah.
put on this show for so and like he just kind of talked with us and he was like, yo, man. And he said it off camera, but he was like, I want to do another one now because I had so much fun just kind of hanging out. It felt like I was there with you guys and stuff. So, and we still
Which
talk to
mean
him, and shit. So
yeah,
it's
I think
cool.
I know. I think I know who it is, but it's kind of fun. That's
Yeah.
cool that you say that. So, yeah,
Yeah.
which means a lot to us because that's kind of like Sandy Johnson. When we had her on, I we we ended up pulling her fucking husband on. We're like, what's he's like
Yeah.
you who like behind the screen, and we're like, get the fuck on here, dude. Hang out with us. Like,
We ended up talking about like cows and shit, like
yeah,
just
it was
crazy shit.
like we just fucking like talk about people's real lives and shit instead of like digging into like fucking you know the same questions are always asked kind of deal, I guess.
Yeah.
right, right.
True.
No, I get it. Yeah, he's. I mean, I know doing mine when even John pointed out. He's like, I like the fact that you just talk to people and you're not really interviewing someone. You're just talking to them. That's what I wanted to do. From the very start, it was just hang the fuck out and just chat and find out what movies you've been watching or what you've been doing in your life or the projects you have going on or
Yeah.
when you think I'm gonna die or whatever. I mean,
Yeah,
that's I
man.
want to know.
You do a good job too, man. There was an episode you did with Dirty Gnome Dan that I really liked because I had never met Dan when he came on our podcast. So it was very like strict and to the point about his artwork and stuff like that. And it was a great episode. And we talked to Dan a lot after as well. And I
Yeah.
still talk to Dan. But in your episode, he seemed so like he seemed so relaxed and like was very talkative and very intrigued and like uh so I learned a lot. I don't know Dan really well, but like I had a really good time listening to that episode because I've
Good.
gotten to know Dan a little bit more after our episode. We hung out with him and then me and him talk every now and then and he supported the hell out of Devils Are We and Nest.
Mm.
So I want to have him on again just to like take some of that
Fuck
energy,
it.
like you did a really good job
Um,
talking to him and he had a great episode, man, and I really
yeah.
like that shit. You're doing your thing too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you are.
he and I have known each other for a long time, and like I said, I went out, when he knew I had a podcast, even before, when I took my break, before that, he's like, "Oh, I want to be on." So
Yeah.
I was like, "Cool," and then it just kind of died. And when I came back, I was like, "Dude, you got to be on the show." He's like, "I've been waiting this whole time, man. Let's fucking do it," and
Hell
we had a great time. So
Fuck yeah.
Good. That's good.
Definitely.
That's fun. That's what the horror community is about, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is coming together and actually talking about shit that you guys like, and also being able to fucking talk about other things. You know, you don't always have to
Mhm.
talk about horror. You can talk about fucking cows. You know, like you can literally hang out and just fucking have a good ass time. That's what
Yeah.
it's about.
Yeah, it's nice
And
that it always comes back to it, but it's also nice to talk about the creative process too, like which isn't
Mhm.
it's linked to horror and what we do, but it's also like knowing someone's creative process and what goes through their head, and like finding out, like I'm sure some people didn't know that Taylor uses Check the Candy as kind of like a therapy session for him. It brings him out of his normal world, which he loves, by the way. He loves his
I
wife,
do.
loves his
Right.
kids and all
Right.
that, but it's another thing where, as we get older, you can express yourself a little bit. And so stuff like that is cool to talk about as well. And I hope that more people talk about stuff like that,
Yeah.
and not in
Yeah.
an interview session, just being able to express themselves and express what they love.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, definitely. Definitely. That's huge, man, because I don't know. I find myself sometimes just kind of wondering, am I alone in this world? Like the things I
Right.
think about, the things I do, I'm like, I feel like I'm alone, and I'm like, no, there's a bunch of people out there that think the same thing I do, and I interact with them all the time. I just sometimes forget because we're so immersed in the horror part. When we talk about other things other than horror, I kind of like pull back and I go, oh yeah, this is like real people, like real shit, So,
Absolutely, and
uh,
it's all
yeah,
linked, man.
yeah,
We had VHS Mikey on, and we had a really deep conversation with Mikey, and it started with horror, and it started with movies and VHS tapes and the things that he loved and the things that we loved, and it grew into this kind of really deep conversation and you realize that it's all linked, and
right,
Yeah.
we should be able to express ourselves in that way and talk about other things that horror kind of led us in that direction or pulled us out of a bad situation that we were in, and it all comes back to that core thing, which is great. But I want to hear more about people's stories of why they started making films and what drew them to horror and that kind of stuff. Not, you guys know me, I'm a big behind the scenes guy. I love all that shit. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah,
when you can lounge and just chill and really understand someone's story and why they love the thing that they love or this thing that we all love is huge too. And like I want to hear more from people like that, even from bigger, celebrities or stars or indie filmmakers or whatever have you, podcasters. I want to hear more of that story as well, because then we're creating something together. Now we're starting to build a relationship within this community, and it can lead to even better shit within the genre.
Yeah.
If we can understand each other a little bit more.
And I think that's
true,
where John and I differ a little bit because I do want to hear all that, but I also, and I think Sandy Johnson is a prime example of this. I want to literally talk about the house you're building. Like like I want to get to know you. Like so John's like he gets him into this and then I get him into that and he gets him back into this and I get him into this and like it's just so it's a whirlwind of just fucking information that people are just like, okay, what did I listen to? I kind of liked it, you know? Like
yeah,
Right,
yeah.
I'm not
right.
But
entirely sure.
that's the beauty of you having two people on a podcast, especially. I know I've talked to Taylor about this, but doing this alone is not easy because
No.
I have a one track mind sometimes, so
Yeah.
I do bounce back and forth. I am a horror guy, but also like other things too. But at the same point, when I'm trying to get, to talk to someone and try to figure out who they are, it's hard to really jump around when I'm on that track because there's no one else to pull me off of it. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
with you guys,
Absolutely.
you have that back and forth that can really help out. And I know I notice it. I notice it huge in your episodes.
Yeah.
So when I'm watching, I'm like, all right, you know what? It's funny when I start off, I go, I wonder where this is going to start and where it's going to end up. And it never starts the same place it ends up ever. And I love that. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool, man.
No,
It's
no,
it's
it
it's a
definitely
great it's a
doesn't.
great dynamic.
yeah,
I
it
think
really
it
is.
normally it starts with horror and ends up with penises or something like
That
that.
is, that's you and me, Taylor. Come on, just be honest.
I always somehow John's always like, dude, cool it with the penises.
Stop showing me your cock. I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I for some reason I guess when I get nervous I go straight to penis, but It's
He wants to make everyone
That's
else just as uncomfortable as he is, and then he can bring himself
that's
down.
yeah. That's not all you do when you go to penises. So just saying.
Yeah.
I do the same thing. So I can't when there's nothing to talk about. Penises are always a good thing to talk about. So,
Oh, it's so easy. You could just like fucking
oh,
draw their attention away from like other things, like
like hey, look at my penis. It's like,
Or they'll just completely shut down.
but that's even funnier. So
Yeah,
that's even
absolutely.
greater.
There's some
But,
content
yeah.
in there for sure.
It is. It is. But okay. So here's another contrast. Let's see between you guys, and this is a very good example. What we just did. Like John is very reserved. You're very, you go outside the boundaries sometimes, but it's very
A
rare.
little bit. Yeah.
Taylor's like this. He's just
All over the place. Oh,
he's
yeah.
over here. He's over there, and like I'm the same way as Taylor. I'm all over the place. So like when he and I start talking, it's like I don't know what's gonna fucking happen come out of our mouth. When I talk to John, I know it's business. I'm gonna ask this question. He's gonna answer it, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah,
But like
absolutely. Yeah. There's not
the
many people that
episodes are
see me
great
go
like
out
that.
they haven't seen me go out. I gotta really get to know you, I feel like, before I'm a pretty quiet guy actually. Um,
Mhm.
you have to really get to know me before I open up a little bit more. And I'm not like, it's not in like a dick way, it's just
Right, right.
back to dicks. But um it's just more of like I am reserved in the sense of like I really figure things out within my own mind first before I project anything out into the world a little bit. I'm almost like, it's kind of like if you look at, I'm not saying I'm Elon Musk, he's very intelligent and I'm a fucking meat cuff, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying that like if you ever watch a podcast with Elon Musk, he like like if you watch him with Joe Rogan, Joe Rogan will ask him a question and then you can see him in his mind like calculating the situation and what he's going to say. And I feel
Hamster's
like I'm
going.
like that in a very minimal sense of like before I project myself to other people, I like have to figure out the situation first and if it's worth for me to do so. It's very odd. And once I do, I'm good. Like I'm out
Yeah,
there, I'm outgoing, I'm ready to go. But I'm
yeah.
definitely different than Taylor in that sense. Like
yeah.
Well,
So
yeah.
you got
They say I'm the opposite.
You got Elon Musk, you got Theon Vaughn,
the
pretty
Obama,
much
Oh
yeah.
God,
in one fucking room.
God. Yeah, pretty much. But see, I'm more the type of like just to say something and then get a reaction and then adjust from there. But you're the
Yeah.
kind of person that goes, wait a minute, let me think about it first, then put it out, so I know I'll get that right response. So yeah,
Correct.
I,
And
I
that's what
will.
I mean by saying I'm like Elon Musk. In every other aspect, I'm not at all like
trust me, I
like
don't think that at all.
I,
he's very smart. He's
You and him are
very
like this.
yes,
I
correct. But
will.
is
I
in
will tell
that
you
sense
this.
of taking in the information and then letting it come out, that's kind of how I am. But that's the dynamic between me and him too. Like I wouldn't be able to do what Taylor does, like for Check the Candy specifically. Like he's talking to he's more outgoing in the sense like he'll be like, I don't give a fuck. I'll ask fucking this person to come on the podcast. I'll send him we were talking to PVD Horror and he just started voice messaging him. He's like, fuck it, I'm not gonna. What's up, guys? Like he's not gonna like send this drawn out message of like
Oh,
almost like it's an email, you know what I mean? Which is what I would fucking do. He's gonna be like, I'm driving. Fuck, hey, you guys want to come on the podcast? And like
gotta
so
go to
he
place
can
a tub.
yeah, he can do that, and that's why we get some cool guests on. I can't do that. And in the same sense, he can't even open a computer, so like I can do all the editing and shit.
Yeah, that's true. I really
I mean,
start. All right, that's a fun story. So starting out, Check the Candy is that I had zero clue how to work a fucking computer. I never. And John's being honest. I've opened two before he come along. Like,
I was like, if we're gonna start a podcast, we gotta learn this, bro.
and one
what's
of them.
computers? What are you talking about?
One of them I opened and I just started acting like I was typing. I never did anything. Okay. Like I don't know how to fucking work this shit. So, but I
Oh
will say
God.
this though. John has helped me grow in ways and being more patient as well because Wes, like you said, we're like this, we're constant.
Mhm.
And I know you're a lot like me. That's why we bounce off each other. We're always constantly going, and it's very hard to take a breath, settle
Bring it
down for a
together.
second. So the whole thing, John has helped me tremendously settled down. He's helped me realize that like I don't need to fucking go constantly. Maybe I need to stop it for a second. You know, my wife has said this for years. If she were listening to this right now, she'd be pissed as fuck because she's like, "Why does John get the credit and I don't?" My
You're
wife
saying
said
that
it.
too.
My wife said it way before John said it, but it took John for me to realize this for some
It's always
fucking
an
reason.
outside source, you know. So
Yeah.
Right.
But I needed somebody like John and I needed somebody like my wife and John to settle me the fuck down. And that's what I've learned throughout this process is that like, you know, check the candy is like John said, it's helped me. It's a mental fucking therapy. And I think with a lot of people doing shit like this, um, especially during COVID, because this shit got brought up a lot during COVID. It was going prior to that, but like no one had anything to do, you know.
yeah,
So like it was a mental fucking thing for them, and it helped them. And
right.
it was something that I didn't realize I did need this, you know, and I did
Mhm.
need somebody like John in my life. I did need fuck, let me back up. I needed my wife in my life that I've had
I'll edit.
for
I'll edit it. I'll edit it. Don't worry about it.
I've needed my wife in my life my whole time. But John was my buddy, you know. He said things differently than my wife said it that made me realize that my wife was right.
Yeah.
Um all along. So, all right, here's the thing. John is my wife,
Basically, yeah.
and I am Jess, his
Yeah.
No,
wife.
no, 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 no. Let's back up a second. Okay, you have your wife, which is Sammy. John is your daddy. Let's get that straight.
Correct. But what he's saying is me and Sammy are like when we met in Maine, like me and Sammy are exactly alike. Well, I shouldn't say exactly, but we are very similar.
Very
But
similar.
yeah,
And then him and my wife are very similar.
Just all
Right.
over the
Where they're
place.
off the walls and bouncing around and happy and just
I
like
will say that
they can't
Jess
even put their
is
fucking tongue back in their mouth. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And you know, and Sammy and I are very like, what the fuck are you doing?
You're collective.
Like,
You're
yes,
collective. Jess and I are just like, let's fucking party. You know,
yeah,
like
exactly.
but Jess, I will say this. Jess, if you're listening, I'm sorry, but you're a wild fucking cat.
Yeah,
You're
she
you're
is.
you're you're way worse than me.
Yeah, she's
And
off the rails, man.
but I love you to death. I love you to death.
Yeah, she's
Oh
great.
man, you guys
But
are
yeah,
crazy.
crazy.
Well,
But
I think we're going on. Wow, hour and a half. Yeah,
Oh shit.
oh, it did went by fast. It
Yeah,
went
holy
by
fuck.
real
Well,
fast.
I think we just fucking didn't shut up for an hour and a half, but
yeah,
No,
sorry
but
about that.
no. This is what I wanted. Like when I told Taylor, I was like, I want to have you guys on to talk about Check the Handy. This is exactly what I wanted. So I am so grateful that you guys took the time out. I know Taylor had said something about we're gonna kind of do one more person for the rest of the year, and then kind of shut down and relax and kind of start back
yeah.
out for the year. I was like, I have an opening. I've had two people cancel on me. And I thought, let me just try. So hey man, you guys want to come on Friday? He's like, let me get you with my daddy and see what happens. So here we are. You know.
Yeah.
We're
No,
gonna
we
start
we
calling John Daddy.
Daddy
The
Candy, dude,
daddy,
Daddy
daddy candy. Oh yeah, I like that. Daddy and mama candy. I like it. I
But
like it.
no, we appreciate it, man, because I think why we talked so much is because I don't think we've gotten to really spew all the information out about Check the Candy yet. You know, we haven't really been able
We
to
have
go on
it, yeah.
anywhere and been able to
Yeah.
tell anybody about how it kind of has shaped up to be right now. So we definitely appreciate you having us
And
on
that-
and
Yeah.
being able to talk about it.
There's a lot
Cool.
more too. Like
Oh yeah,
honestly,
yeah,
there's so much more. But
You guys should do a podcast just with you two talking about it. Honestly, just
yeah.
say
We might
here's the
have to.
history. Get to rehash all the stuff we talked about, but kind of make it all kind of one long story. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
we might do that because we we haven't like you said, we aren't completely shutting down, but we're not booking anymore. We're booking guests right now, but they're in for
for
next
next year.
year. And we're we have some things coming up in December that are gonna fill those gaps. But maybe we will jump on and just kind of reflect on the last year here and our first year
Yeah,
as the
that'd be
Candy
fun.
Crew.
That'd be
So
fun.
we might
Definitely.
do that and be able to just kind of talk to each other about it, and just have
Yeah.
fun with it. That's a good
Yeah.
idea. But yeah, we got plenty of stuff coming in the next month here for the holidays and stuff that are going to be great. But as far as guests go, yeah, we're
As
pushing
far
them
as
on.
guests go, we don't have much going on, but we do have a lot going on. And in the new year, we do have a lot more
A
fucking
lot
things coming
going
on.
a lot
And
going on,
one
dude.
being you know,
Right.
this motherfucker. So we're gonna do some shit. We're gonna collab with this guy,
Yeah.
and we're gonna. We're not spoiling anything right now, but we're gonna fucking
Oh,
do
no.
it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we got a lot of
It's coming.
things planned, especially coming up now. But next year, I mean, we got stuff on the, we got a lot of cool guests coming on. We got a lot of segments and content coming out. That's we're just like if you're thinking of an airplane, we're just like the front wheels have just lifted off.
Yeah,
We
one
got
of them fell off, but we're fucking flying.
Yeah, we're unhinged. We're unhinged, man. But we're
Taylor's hanging out.
Yeah.
Taylor's hanging out the wheel well. He's trying to grab onto it, going, "God, it just
Yeah.
fucking go."
Yeah, we're unhinged, man. VHS Mikey said it best. Said you guys are fucking. He's like a lot of brands or country. You guys are fucking rock and roll, and we took that to heart because we think of ourselves a little bit punk rock, and we got some cool ideas. I got some cool ideas swimming around that I haven't even talked to Taylor about yet. So yeah, we're gonna have this coming year is gonna be the year of the candy is what I'll call it.
Ooh, you're the cat like that. That's the new Chinese addition to the calendar.
Yeah,
The candy calendar.
absolutely.
Yeah, we're actually
like it.
starting
I like it.
a candy calendar. It's gonna be John and I naked
Yes,
on each one of them, and then we'll
With
have
a piece of
alt-
candy right in the
alt-
middle.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
sell 'em for-
We'll
we're
have
gonna-
alts in there eventually, but
and he'll do
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
calendar. He'll do all the graphic design, and we'll make sure we sell them and we'll sell them all for charity. We'll give it to one
Yeah,
charity.
and the last picture is alt in the middle, and you guys both going in right on the crotch area. Just an idea. Just an idea.
I love it.
he's the
Bowing
main
down to the master.
he's the main lollipop.
Sure. Well, guys, thank you so much, seriously, for doing this. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate both of you guys. Seriously, you both have helped me immensely with my stuff and just being great people in general in the horror community. So I appreciate both of you guys so much. But yeah, again, thank you so much for being on the show. I hopefully have some more coming up pretty soon. I had a little snafu with one of my guests, a big name in horror, and that really still pisses me off to this day. But after the Thanksgiving holiday, I'm going to revisit him, and we're going to try this again. I won't say who it is yet, but you guys know who it is. But so look for something big coming before the end of the year from me. So
Wait, listen, I want to say one thing before we go.
oh yeah,
Make sure you always scream for me, and make sure you always check the fucking candy. Peace.
I like
That was sexy.
Okay, wait, but before we go though, let's get an official, like, what do you call that when someone like does like the weird so and so and you're listening to what is that
Yeah.
called? A drop? Do
Yeah,
one of those for
sure.
me, both of you guys. So let's get there. Are you ready? 3, 2.
Wait, what are we doing? What are we doing?
How we doing?
And for
You're doing a
who's? And
drop.
for who's? For
You're
yours?
doing a drop for me. Yeah, for me. For
All right, cool.
screen for me.
All right, I'll go first, and then Taylor will go. How about that?
There,
what
sounds
do I
good.
say? What do I say?
I'll go first.
Just say whatever comes to your head, dude.
Just copy me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is John from Check the Candy and New England Home of Horror. And make sure you are checking out the Scream for Me pod show.
I love it. Hey, I'm Skynetvideo, and I want you to check out Scream for Me because he always makes me scream.
Hey,
Is that right?
Hey, that's perfect. That's perfect.
love it.
Cool. All right. Well, again, all their stuff will be linked down below. Check the candy.
Oh wait, I didn't say
Zoe,
check the candy.
Nest.
Check the candy. Check the candy.
Unhinged.
You said
forgot that
check
one.
that.
We were talking about the
We-
plane. One of the wings is falling off, dude. It's
yeah. It's all going down. It's going
crash
down.
and fucking
But-
burn, baby. Check the candy. Scream for Me pod show. Let's go.
Fly like this.
All right. Yeah. Link down below will be all their stuff. So go check them all out. So again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll check you later.